Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's absolutely critical for every man out there, but one that's often misunderstood or completely ignored. The title says it all: boundaries or death. Now that sounds dramatic, I know, but I'm not talking about a literal death. I'm talking about the death of respect, the death of your self-worth, and the death of your potential. We're going to explore why men without clear, firm boundaries are consistently disrespected, and how you can start building your own rules for life today. Let's start with a simple question. Have you ever felt like a doormat? Like people just walk all over you, take you for granted, and never seem to consider your needs or feelings? Maybe it's a friend who always asks for favors but is never there when you need them. Or a partner who constantly crosses lines you're uncomfortable with. Or even a boss who piles on work without any regard for your personal time. If any of this sounds familiar, you're likely dealing with a boundary issue. So what exactly are boundaries? Think of them as the invisible lines you draw around yourself. They define what you're okay with and what you're not. They're your personal rulebook for how others are allowed to treat you. They protect your time, your energy, your emotions, and your values. Without them, you're essentially an open field with a big sign that says, "Come on in, take whatever you want, and trust me, people will." The world naturally tests for resistance. It's just how things work. When you don't have boundaries, you send a signal to everyone around you that you don't value yourself enough to protect yourself. This lack of self-respect is like a magnet for disrespect from others. People, often unconsciously, will push until they find a limit. If they never find one with you, the pushing just continues. They learn that your time isn't valuable, that your opinions don't matter, and that your needs are secondary. This is where the death part comes in. It's a slow erosion of your spirit. Every time you say yes when you mean no, a small piece of your self-respect dies. Every time you let someone get away with a comment that undermines you, a little bit of your confidence withers. Over time, this leads to resentment, frustration, and a deep-seated feeling of being powerless. You start to believe the story that you're not worthy of respect, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, a lot of guys struggle with this because we often raised to be the nice guy, or taught to be agreeable, to not make waves, to put others first. And while being kind and generous are great qualities, there's a huge difference between being kind and being a people pleaser with no backbone. A kind person chooses to help from a place of strength and self-respect. A people pleaser helps out of fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of not being liked. This fear is the biggest enemy of boundaries. We're afraid that if we say no, people will get angry. We're afraid that if we stand up for ourselves, we'll lose a friend or a relationship. But here's the hard truth. Anyone who gets angry or leaves your life because you set a healthy boundary was unrespecting you in the first place. They were benefiting from your lack of boundaries. Their departure is not a loss. It's a filtration process. You re-clearing out the people who don't have your best interests at heart to make room for those who do. Think about the most respected men you know. Do they let people walk all over them? Absolutely not. They have a clear set of principles. They know their worth. They're willing to have uncomfortable conversations and say no when necessary. This doesn't make them jerks, it makes them men of integrity. Respect isn't given to those who are the most agreeable. It's earned by those who respect themselves first. So, how do you start building these boundaries? It's a process, and it won't happen overnight, but you can start today. The first step is self-awareness. You need to get clear on what your own rules are. What are your non-negotiables? Grab a piece of paper and literally write them down. What treatment will you no longer accept? How do you want your time to be valued? What are your core values that you won't compromise? For example, a boundary might be, I will not answer work calls or emails after 7 p.m. Or 7 p.m. Or boundary might be, I will not answer work calls or emails after 7 p.m. I will not lend money to friends who have a history of not paying me back. Or even, I will not tolerate being spoken to in a condescending tone. These are your rules. They're not for anyone else to approve. They're for you to enforce. Once you have your rules, the next step is communication. This is where it gets tricky for many. You have to learn to communicate your boundaries clearly and calmly. You don't need to be aggressive or confrontational. Often, a simple and direct statement is all it takes. Let's use an example. A friend always shows up 30 minutes late when you make plans. This disrespects your time. The old you might just sit there and fume silently. The new you, the man with boundaries, will handle it differently. The next time you make plans, you could say, "Hey man, I'm really looking forward to catching up. Just a heads up, I've only got an hour, so I'll need to leave at 8 sharp. Let's make sure we're both on time so we can make the most of it." You've stated your need and the consequence without being a jerk. If they're still late, you follow through. At 8 o'clock, you say, "Hey, it was great to see you, but like I said, I've got to run. Let's catch up again soon." You enforce the boundary. This is the most critical part. A boundary without a consequence is just a suggestion. When people see that you mean what you say, they will start to adjust their behavior. And if they don't, you know where you stand. This will feel uncomfortable at first. You'll feel guilty, you'll worry you're being selfish. Push through that feeling. It's the old programming trying to keep you in your place. Remember, setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's essential for self-preservation and healthy relationships. In fact, people will respect you more for it in the long run. They'll know where they stand with you. They'll know you're a man of your word, a man who values himself. That is incredibly attractive and commands respect. Your relationships will actually improve. The ones that are meant to last will become deeper and more authentic, built on a foundation of mutual respect. The parasitic ones will fall away, and that's a good thing. You'll free up so much mental and emotional energy that was being drained by resentment and frustration. You can then invest that energy back into yourself, your goals, and the people who truly deserve it. So I challenge you today, identify one area in your life where a boundary is desperately needed. Just one. Define what that boundary is, and think about how you can communicate it calmly and firmly the next time the situation arises. Take that first small step. It's the beginning of reclaiming your power and demanding the respect you deserve. It's the choice between the death of your self-worth and the birth of a stronger, more respected version of you. It's not about being liked by everyone. It's about being respected by the right people, starting with yourself. Thanks for tuning in. This is a tough subject, but a vital one. If you got value out of this, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that helps you level up. Let me know in the comments what's one boundary you're going to set this week. I'll see you in the next one.